The email hit Claire Evans' inbox at 11:03 a.m., right as she was finishing a pitch presentation in front of the executive team. Subject: clarification needed, intellectual property attribution. She froze. Her laptop screen, still mirrored to the conference room monitor, displayed the subject line in bold. For a moment, the room blurred. She clicked it open. Hi, Claire. We've received an inquiry from Lindsay regarding shared development credit on the Cresswell client automation tool. She claims the original concept originated from her early notes, and legal is reviewing IP attribution. We've paused performance bonuses pending resolution. HR, Stratwood & Co. Claire's jaw clenched. That was my build, my data, my weekends. Lindsay, her colleague and subtle saboteur, sat across the room, flipping her pen nonchalantly. She didn't look up, but Claire caught the faintest smirk twitch across her lips. Claire? Greg, the regional director, prompted. You were saying something about onboarding flow-through? She blinked, recalibrated, and finished the meeting with a mechanical polish that masked the fire in her chest. As the room emptied, Lindsay lingered behind. Rough timing for that email, Lindsay said, her voice syrupy. Corporate always picks the worst moments, huh? Claire didn't respond. She just packed her laptop slowly, willing her hands not to shake. By the time Claire got home that evening, her mind was a storm, not just about Lindsay or the $15,000 bonus that now hung in limbo, but about her family. Her phone buzzed. It was her banking app. Alert. Withdrawal of $5,000 from joint account. Nov 24, 3:08 p.m. Her stomach dropped. She pulled up the account history. The withdrawal came from her parents' side, David and Carol Evans, the same account she'd set up 5 years ago to help out during Dad's recovery. It was meant for emergencies, roof repairs, medical copays, not whatever chaos her sister Juliet had gotten herself into this time. Claire sank onto the edge of the bed, heart pounding. She hadn't even unpacked Ben's school folder yet. A soft knock came from his room. Mom? Ben peeked around the doorframe, still in his little NASA pajamas. Can I help you make your cranberry sauce tomorrow? I want to stir it like last year. Her throat tightened. Of course, buddy. She couldn't let him see her like this. Not again. 3 weeks earlier, she'd offered to host Thanksgiving. Her first. A chance to create a warm memory in their new townhouse. Her parents had declined. We were thinking of doing it at our place again, her mother had said breezily. Like old times. Claire had agreed, suppressing her disappointment. That night, she and Ben had baked pumpkin pies anyway, just to feel festive. Now she opened her banking spreadsheet. Over 5 years, she'd paid. Mortgage, $86,000. Utilities, $24,000. Car loan, $9,400. Juliet's rehab stays, 3 of them, $21,300. Missed transfers labeled groceries or support, $13,000 plus. Total, $153,742. And for what? She opened a message thread with her mom. The last text read, Juliet is fragile right now. Just be patient on Thursday. She needs family support more than ever. Right. And what was Claire? Thanksgiving Day arrived like a trap. She and Ben showed up right on time, 3 p.m., cranberry sauce and gifts in hand. Her father opened the door, already looking awkward. The house was full, extended family she hadn't seen in years, laughter echoing from the living room. Then Juliet appeared. What is she doing here? She snarled from across the hallway. You said she wasn't coming. Claire froze, still holding the pie dish. What are you talking about? Juliet turned to their mother. You promised. David raised a hand. Let's not do this, girls. I'm not sitting at the same table as her, Juliet snapped. You know what she did. Claire's voice stayed even. Juliet, I have no idea what fantasy you're living in. Liar, Juliet hissed. You tell everyone I'm a failure. You make up lies about me, and now you just show up like some saint? Ben clutched her coat sleeve. Mom, what's happening? That's when their mother stepped in, not to defend Claire, but to remove her. Claire, Carol said quietly, maybe. Maybe it's best you and Ben come another day. Amanda, Juliet, is in a delicate state. Claire blinked. You're asking me to leave? David added, just this once. Then Juliet smirked. Take your brat and go. Something inside Claire snapped. She set the pie down, slowly, deliberately. Ben is your nephew. You don't talk about him like that. Whatever, just leave. Their mother added, we'll pack you a plate. Claire stared at them, absorbing every shard of betrayal. No need. Keep your food. Keep the lies. She turned to Ben. Let's go make our own Thanksgiving. Back in the car, Claire drove in silence. Ben sniffled in the back seat. Why were Grandma and Grandpa mean to us? He asked. She swallowed hard. Because they forgot what family means. That night her phone buzzed with texts. We'll make it up to you. Please understand, Juliet needs us. Did you get home safe? She didn't respond. Instead, she logged into her banking portal and began downloading every statement. She had work to do. She was done being the strong one they could silently lean on. If you've ever been pushed aside after giving everything, type 1. You're not alone. Just before bed, Claire receives another email. Subject: Final confirmation, contract conflict, escalated to legal review. And beneath that, a Venmo alert from Juliet, $2,500 transferred to a luxury rehab center. Subject: IP escalation, legal review scheduled. The email landed just before Claire Evans could sip her coffee. She read the first line twice. Due to conflicting documentation regarding authorship of the Cresswell automation module, legal counsel will conduct a formal internal review. Please prepare all drafts, logs, and communication records related to the IP in question. Stratwood Legal. Claire's hands went cold. This wasn't just an internal tiff anymore. It had escalated, and she knew exactly who had dragged it there. Lindsay Hale, her smiling, conniving colleague who had pitched Claire's automation prototype to leadership last month like it was her own. Claire minimized the window and opened her project folder. The code-based timestamps, meeting notes, Slack exchanges. Thank God she had archived them. But would HR care? Lindsay was well connected. Her uncle was a regional VP. The idea that Claire could build something brilliant, only for it to be stolen and wrapped in corporate pleasantries, was a familiar sting. Too familiar. Her phone buzzed. Text from Mom. Juliet had a hard night. We might need to tap the emergency account again. Can you transfer sooner this month? Claire stared at the message, jaw clenched. No apology, no acknowledgement of Thanksgiving, just more taking, like always. That night, after putting Ben to bed, she sat down at the kitchen table with a glass of wine and her laptop. She opened a spreadsheet titled Evans Financial Support. Line by line, she filled in everything. $2,300 month mortgage payments, $380 month utilities, $8,900 in car repairs over 5 years, $4,200 in insurance premiums, $21,300 for Juliet's 3 rehab stints. And now, $5,000 for what? Another credit card Juliet burned through? The final figure blinked at her. $153,742. Claire leaned back in her chair, numb. The weight of it wasn't just financial, it was generational. She'd spent her adult life patching holes her family kept tearing open, and all they saw was the rope, never the person holding it tight. Her inbox pinged again. Email from Lindsay. Hey Claire, no hard feelings, okay? This stuff gets messy when credit's involved. Hope you're doing okay. The gall. Claire closed her laptop with a sharp snap. No, she was not doing okay, but she was done pretending otherwise. She scheduled a call with Jacqueline Tran, a workplace equity attorney she'd once met through a client. At 10 a.m. the next morning, they were on Zoom. I documented everything, Claire said, pulling up her screen. Lindsay accessed my sandbox code on October 3rd. Here's the log. She had read-only access. 2 days later, she submitted a pitch deck with my diagrams. Here's the metadata. Jacqueline's expression never wavered. You're smart to come to me early. I'll begin drafting a statement for internal mediation. But Claire, this will make things political. Claire nodded. It already is. Later that evening, Claire drove to her parents' house, without Ben. She needed answers. Alone. Her mother opened the door, startled. "Claire, honey, why didn't you text?" "We need to talk," Claire said. Her tone made Carol step aside wordlessly. Inside, the TV buzzed with muted news. Her father sat in his usual recliner, pretending not to notice the tension. "I want to know exactly what that $5,000 withdrawal was for," Claire said. "Today." David looked up. Juliet needed help. Rent, apparently, and some old bills. "Why was I not told?" Claire asked sharply. Carol sighed. "You were so upset after Thanksgiving, we didn't want to add stress." "You already did," Claire said. "You took money from an account I fund, without asking. Again. And you still haven't apologized for humiliating Ben and me." "It was one bad day," David said. "She's mentally fragile. You're the strong one." Claire flinched. "Don't say that like it's a compliment." "You use it as permission to keep draining me." A pause. Carol shifted. "Juliet. She was diagnosed last year. Borderline personality disorder." Claire blinked. "What?" "She didn't want you to know," her mother said, guilt flickering across her face. She was embarrassed. "So instead, you let me believe she was just entitled?" Claire asked. "And you still gave her my money while she cursed my child?" David interjected. "We were trying to protect everyone." "No," Claire said, her voice ice. "You were protecting your illusion, at my expense." Just then, the front door opened. Juliet walked in, grocery bags in hand. "Oh, great, the Golden Girl's here." "Juliet," Carol warned. "No, it's fine," Claire said, standing her ground. "I was just hearing about your diagnosis." Juliet froze. "You told her?" "They didn't have to," Claire replied. "You've been broadcasting your pain for years." Juliet threw the bags on the counter. "So what? Now I'm supposed to thank you for being perfect? For fixing everything with your magic checkbook?" "No," Claire said, "but you will stop treating me like the enemy." Juliet scoffed. "This family's always been about you." Claire stepped closer. "Then explain why no one defended me when you called my son a brat." Silence. David looked at the floor. Carol wrung her hands. "I'm done," Claire said. "The money stops. I've set up a 6-month drawdown plan. After that, you're on your own." "You can't do that," Carol said, alarmed. "I can, and I will," Claire replied. "I've already spoken to a lawyer. You'll get the documents tomorrow. If you've ever been forced to choose between your integrity and your peace, type 2, I'm listening." As Claire reached the door, Juliet muttered under her breath, "Fine, but if I go down, I'm not going alone." Claire paused. "Is that a threat?" Juliet just smiled. "No, just a reminder. You've got secrets too." The HR rep's voice was calm. Too calm. "We've reviewed the metadata and email logs. Based on the timestamps and code trail, it's clear the primary build was authored by you. Lindsay's access was read-only. She never submitted formal contribution documentation." Claire let out a slow breath. "So, we're reinstating your performance bonus," the rep said. "Effective immediately. Legal has closed the inquiry. Expect the funds by Friday." Claire almost laughed, not from relief, but from the absurdity of it all. Weeks of anxiety, sleepless nights, threatened reputation. And now it was over, because data didn't lie. What if she hadn't kept every draft, every Slack exchange? "I also received your formal complaint," the rep added. "We'll be addressing conduct breaches internally." Claire ended the call, staring at her screen. The confirmation sat in her inbox. Case closed. Attribution, Claire Evans. She closed her laptop and sat back in silence. She had won. And yet, the victory felt hollow. Because while her employer had finally acknowledged her work, her own family hadn't acknowledged her worth, not once. That weekend, Claire took Ben to the Holiday Light Festival. They walked under strings of glowing orbs, sipping hot chocolate, bundled in matching scarves. Ben skipped ahead, pointing out reindeer statues and snowflake arches. As they sat on a bench watching carolers, her phone buzzed. Text from Dad. We sold the house. We're moving into a smaller condo nearby. Maybe you and Ben could visit over the holidays? Claire stared at the message. No apology, no reflection, just an invitation back into the cycle. She locked the screen and looked at Ben. He was humming along to Silent Night, cheeks pink from the cold, eyes wide with joy. She wasn't going back, not the way they wanted. A week later, Claire stood outside her parents' new condo. She had requested the meeting, not out of obligation, but for closure. She'd already transferred the final scheduled support payment. The next month, there would be none. Inside, the condo smelled faintly of cardboard and old books. Carol greeted her with an uncertain smile. We're still unpacking. David stood in the living room, arms crossed. We appreciate your help through all this, Claire, really. Claire nodded, placing a folder on the coffee table. This is a summary of the transition plan. I've also added referrals to financial advisors who specialize in retirement restructuring. David bristled. So that's it? You just cut us off after everything we've done for you? Claire met his eyes. What you've done for me, Dad, or what I've done for all of you, quietly, for 5 years? Carol stepped in quickly. We're not ungrateful. You just never said it, Claire interrupted. You never even tried to understand the pressure I was under. You just assumed I could carry everything because I was the strong one. We didn't know you were struggling, Carol whispered. You didn't ask, Claire replied softly. The front door opened suddenly. Juliet. She looked thinner, hair pulled back into a loose bun, no makeup. She froze when she saw Claire. I thought you weren't coming, she said flatly. I'm not here to fight, Claire said. Just to be clear. Juliet crossed her arms. Let me guess. You're here to rub in the fact that you're finally off the hook. No, Claire replied. I'm here because I'm not angry anymore, but I am done. Juliet scoffed. So you finally get to walk away. Must be nice. Claire stepped forward. You don't get to weaponize your pain to excuse cruelty. You called my 6-year-old a brat, and no one said a word. Juliet looked away. For once, no snide comment. Claire continued, voice calm but unshakable. I've spent years holding this family together, emotionally, financially, and you know what I got in return? Silence, blame, manipulation. Fine, Juliet said, arms dropping. You win. This isn't about winning, Claire replied. It's about ending the game. I'm not your savior, and I'm not your villain. I'm your sister. And this, she motioned between them, is the line. Respect it or don't expect me back. Juliet looked down, then quietly, I'm in a new therapy program. I leave for Colorado next week. It's serious this time. Claire's expression softened just slightly. I hope it is. I want better for you, for all of us, but I won't sacrifice Ben's well-being or mine for hope. If you've ever had to walk away from people you love to protect your peace, Type 3, you're stronger than you think. Back home, Claire and Ben cooked dinner together, pancakes, his favorite. He topped them with too many blueberries, but she let it slide. Mom? He asked, mouth full. Are we still a family, even if we don't see Grandma and Grandpa a lot? Claire knelt beside him. Of course we are. Families come in all shapes. Sometimes it's a mom and her son, and sometimes it's the people who show up for you, not just because they share your name, but because they see you. Ben nodded. Like Sophie and Tyler? Exactly. That night, as Claire checked her emails, a notification popped up. From Juliet Evans. Subject: Thank you, sort of. I still think you're impossible sometimes, but I reread your letter and I'm starting to get it. I'll be gone for a while. Maybe we can talk when I'm back. Maybe. Claire didn't reply. Not yet. But she saved the message. As Claire turned off the lights and crawled into bed, her heart was finally still. The cost of boundaries was high, but the price of silence had been far higher, and she wasn't paying it anymore.